Hey, welcome everybody to Pro Mindset Podcast. This is your host, Craig Domann. Today we have a former PGA golfer by the name of Jay Delsing. Jay, welcome to Pro Mindset today.
Hey, Craig, thanks for having me, man. I'm looking forward to being with you.
Okay, so Jay is a radio host, an author. I love the title of your book. Here's where we're going to get going. We have a lot of listeners that are sorry golfers, okay? We don't have any PGA Tour people listening, I don't think, today. So how would you describe a day in the life of a PGA Tour player?
Well, we're kind of nuts, Craig, generally speaking. I mean, as a kid, I didn't mind being by myself. I wound up spending an inordinate amount of time by myself playing golf, because I grew up fourth of five kids. All the other sports took a village to get together to organize, and nothing would piss me off more than having the shortstop have to go home for dinner in the third inning, and I'm over here going, it's the third inning. We have 6 more innings to go. So golf worked out great for me because I could just do it by myself. I'm a self-starter anyway. And so interesting, most of the guys on the PGA Tour are kind of like sock sorters, and they probably, they just like doing the same thing every single day. I was that anomaly. I'm a more creative person. When I got to a golf ball, I was there to try to create a shot. I didn't want to do the same thing every day. It's probably why I railed against that, and it probably didn't help me because I really didn't know what the hell I was doing. Once I got out of college, I got my PGA Tour card and I was trying to figure it out on the fly. I'm stubborn as hell, and I was like, I can do this. So the guys, I would sit there and watch these guys stand on the range and hit balls, and I'm thinking, man, all I want to do is go play. No two golf courses, Craig, are the same. No two holes are the same. I love all that stuff. These guys are all trying to do the exact same thing every single day. And I'm like, God, that is just such a drag. So I struggled a lot with that. Most golfers were kind of nerdy. I was just a kid that loved sports. My dad, you can see the memorabilia. My dad played in Major League Baseball for 10 years. My nephew's Taylor Twellman. He is a former MVP of the MLS soccer. My family was always around balls. Golf, some people are thinking golf's not even a sport, Craig. They're like, it's kind of like, is race car driving a sport? I don't know. But we go back and forth. And when I was playing, what I loved the most was the competition. I loved being nervous. I loved having all that adrenaline run through me. But I got to tell you, it is a rush like you can't believe to play really good golf in front of a lot of people. When they're there to watch you, you're trying to put on a good show for them. You want them to go home and go, man, did you see, I wound up having a hole-in-one on the 16th hole out at Phoenix one year. And I'll never forget this, Craig. My routine was like, put my ball on the ground, stand behind the ball, visualize my shot and hit. And it all took but less than 10 seconds. So we didn't have all the developed bleachers like the Coliseum like it is now, but it was like that to a smaller degree. And I'll never forget, because this is the way I grew up playing with my friends. I put the ball on the ground, I got behind it, and I hear 2 drunk guys talking to each other. And one says, who the is this guy? And his friend goes, I have no idea, but I bet you $5 he misses the green. And I'm thinking, dude, you shouldn't have done that. Because I don't know where this is going to go, but I'm going to hit this green. It's only a 9-iron. I'm going to hit this green. And I hit it, and it went in. And the people went crazy. Craig, the hair in my arm stood up, all this stuff. I turned around, and I was like, which one of you, lost $5, and I got a beer shower. And so some of the things that have happened to me through the game, it's why I wrote the book. It's just, I'm the luckiest person you'll ever have on your show, man. My life could have gone a lot of ways. I started as a caddy. I go in the back door of the country clubs, man. I'm a muni golfer. I'm proud of that, but what they're charging for golf these days is insane. What the professional golfers on the PGA Tour are making right now, Craig? Wow. If I could only been a little younger, but I loved the opportunity that I chased my dream. I never got to be number 1 player in the world. I thought I could be. That's just being more dumb than afraid. And I got to as high as 52nd in the world, maybe a little higher. World golf rankings didn't really mean much when we were out there playing, And who remembers it? You know what I mean? It's like, really, Craig, really, let's be real. Who remembers second? you know? It's like, oh yeah, I finished second there. Oh, way to go. Like, keep
Hey,
going.
nobody can remember who lost the Super Bowl
No,
unless it
no,
was your team. Nobody even remembers.
no,
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 we
no.
have a one-track mind. We only think about the top, you
Yeah.
know? Well,
Yeah.
let me ask you this. This is what I've found is that your story follows you. And your story is that here you are from St. Louis. You're not from Pebble Beach. You're not from Southern California. You're not from Orlando. You're not at these hotbeds of where golfing is. Now you play college golf at UCLA, which is super dope. But it's like you're from St. Louis, Missouri, and I have nothing against St. Louis. St. Louis is a great city.
You probably should.
But it's not a hotbed for professional golfers. Okay? Not like Dallas and places like that. And you started out as a caddy and you played municipal courses and you proclaimed to be this blue collar kind of guy. Did that ever hurt you when you were on the tour? Did it ever show up when you wish it wouldn't have showed up? Did you ever have this yearning from time to time that you just wanted to be in the club? You wanted to just for a moment, just for a day, you wanted to be the country club kid.
When I was a kid, that's all I want. I didn't want to have to work. I wanted to just, have a hot dog and be like Spalding from Caddyshack. I'm not playing golf today, Grandpa. I'm playing tennis. I'll tell you, there's a story in the book that mortified me, but it also helped me. I'm sitting in the players' dining in the Bay Hill Club in Orlando. Arnold Palmer, the Mr. Arnold Palmer, invited me to play in his tournament. I finished my Friday round early. I'm somewhere in the top 10, 12, and I'm sitting in by myself, my hat on, just off the golf course. I didn't like to eat much when I played. So when I came off the course, I could take a bite out of my 5-iron. I was starving. So I would always run in, grab something to eat. Then I'd practice and I'd get my workout in, and then my day would be done. So I'm sitting by myself, hat on, just eating this food. Big hand comes on my shoulder. I look up. It's Arnold Palmer. I'm like, holy smokes. So again, hat on, stand up, beautiful plate of food. Craig, spread, all sorts of. This was in the post-Tiger era when, golf was really cool. Early days on tour, golf wasn't that cool. There wasn't spreads for us to eat. There weren't tournament-free, brand-new courtesy cars for us to drive every week. But anyway, my hero puts his meat hook on my shoulder, so I stand up, and I'm thinking he's going to go, wow, man, nice playing. You got a chance to win this tournament. Way to go. He says to me, and he grabs me here in the arm, and he's strong as hell, Craig. And just like the nuns used to do in grade school when I was in trouble, he pulls me close and he says, let me ask you something. Do you wear that hat in your home? And I don't know I'm in trouble, Craig. And I go, yes, sir, Mr. Palmer, I sure do. And he says, damn it, take it off. Show me some respect. This is my home. A man does not wear his hat in another man's home. And I'm like, throw it on the ground. I'm like, I don't even want to ever see that hat again. I am turning red and I'm like, holy shit, man, the king just dressed me down. I'm like, I didn't know I was in the wrong. That was part of the way that I grew up. I didn't know. So he pats me on the shoulder. I can barely breathe. Pats me on the shoulder and goes, I saw you played well. I hope you win this damn thing. And he walks away. I sit down. Now, Craig, I could really give a shit about eating. I really don't care. I'm just going, God, I hope nobody saw that, And so I'm trying to get it together and I'm sitting here. And two of my buddies, Willie Wood and Jeff Sluman, come up to me. And I look up and they go, the king got you, didn't he? And I go, yeah, boys, I didn't know I was wearing my hat. He goes, he got us yesterday. We just did that. Craig, we didn't know. No one ever told me in my life, but I will tell you this, 100% true. Every damn place I walk into now, if I'm wearing my hat, I take it off. I don't care if it's a bathroom somewhere, man. I am taking it off. Somewhere up above, he's looking at me going, at least I paid attention to that,
Well, I know you don't know him necessarily personally, but what do you think separates guys like Jack Nicklaus and Arnold Palmer, Tom Watson, even across state from you, those kind of elite guys. And, today we got Scotty Scheffler and, Tiger's best days are behind him at the moment. What is it about, how are those guys wired differently than the rest?
Their minds they're able. So Craig, I've had probably 10 or 15 times in my entire life where I've been able to get into the zone. And people talk about the zone, and I was like, whatever. It exists. I don't know what you want to call it, but it's this place where as an athlete, you are as relaxed as you could possibly be. Time is going so fast, but in your mind, it's slow. The game is slow. The hole looks this big. Everything feels like rainbows and butterflies, and you're calm inside. Your heart might be racing at 170, but you're feeling calm. Typically, I mean, I've stood over putts before and had my hands sweaty and shaky and knocked putts in. This is this time where everything just slows down. I shot a 61 final round of Memphis one year, and the joy of it was my parents were still alive and they got to see it. But Craig, I stood over a putt on 17, and I should have been nervous out of my brain. It was a Sunday. I don't know where I was, probably fifth or sixth place at the time. And Craig, all I had to do was hit the ball, and it was going in. Now, bro, I've stood over putts this long before and going, I don't know.
I can make it. Yeah.
I don't know.
Okay, Jay.
My feet feel bad. I'm shaking like hell. I don't know.
Jay, I need you to get in the zone right now.
Okay.
Right now. And I need you to go back to that day and time. And I want you to describe for me what was the story you were telling yourself when the holes looked this big and the greens looked ginormous, all that stuff.
The fairways. I never hit many fairways in my whole career. I'm like, all I got to do, Craig, the thing that's so disappointing about this is the answer is nothing. There's this calmness. It's like oftentimes when I was playing, I was always singing a song to me. I love music. I'm taking up the guitar right now, which is really dreadful. I am horrible. I thought these hands were good. They suck. But I was always singing some sort of song in my head that would either relax me or just kind of set up the rhythm. But days like that, Craig, it's like you could blow up a bomb next to me and I wouldn't hear it. It's like nothing gets in. It's like you have this armor and it encompasses you. Your brain is so hyperly focused on what you want that it's utopia for an athlete. It's absolutely utopia. I stood over this putt. The 18th hole at Southwind is a very difficult par 4, which I've hit in the water many times. But I'm 10 under par playing this hole. I got the course, still have the course record there. I hit my shot out to the right, so it doesn't go in the water. Anyway, long story short, I'm standing over a 4.5-foot putt on the last hole, and I can't wait to hit it because I know I'm going to make it. Now, Craig, I've had that feeling before to a lesser degree, and most of them go in, but I've missed them before too and been really surprised. But this was different. And it's, when I watch Tiger and watch his mind, I swear he blinks slower. He walks. The hardest thing to do, bud, is when you're all fired up, your body wants to charge. It wants to go full steam ahead. You want to swing 1,000 miles an hour. You want to sprint to your next ball, and because this is your day. And that will screw you up in golf. And so if you watch Tiger, and I talked to Azinger about this on my show, he goes, I swear that dude blinks slower. And I pulled up film that I have of Tiger, and I swear it's like he's going, and I'm like, what the? It's so the meditation, the mental prep, the things like that I would go through on those special days, Craig, it was like, boom, they all just perfectly connected. And it was, it was just like nothing bothered you. You hit one to the left, you're like, who gives a damn? I'm fine. Other days, Craig, your game can be spot on and you just had a fight with your girlfriend or something and, you hit a ball in the right side of the fairway and you're pissed off. You know what I mean? We humans are crazy. Absolutely crazy.
Let me give you a perspective, okay? Been doing sports for 35 years, working with NFL guys. And both of my boys went pretty far in sports. My one son made it in the NFL for three years.
Wow.
And so what I do is I coach people on mindset. And what we're talking about right now is one aspect that I call creating a performance bubble. When you create a performance bubble, it's something you step into in your mind where circumstances don't matter. You're not attached to your outcomes. You're not worried about what your score is going to be. You're not worried about how much money you're going to make. You're not worried about where you're at on the scoreboard or leaderboard. If somebody says something to you when you're walking down the course or in between holes, it doesn't bother you. If there's a heckler, the fight you got into with your wife the night before is not in your mind.
Right.
Just all the worries of life are gone. And the only thing that gets to come in is your belief in who you are as a man. Your confidence in the work you put in to put yourself in this situation so that you can feel like you deserve to be there. And then the preparation that you did ahead of the tournament for that course, playing it, coming a couple weeks before, whatever the case may be, stuff gets to come in. And when you do that, that's when you can get in the zone. It's very, very difficult to create the zone, but it's easier to create the environment.
Yes.
That can allow you to go in the zone. And you may not go there, but at least you got a shot.
Right. Craig, when I started meditating before my rounds and started visualizing ahead of time and going through what I was going to, so like if you're NFL guys, how does a guy in the NFL play defensive back? I mean, he's got guys running at him that might have 4.2, 4.3 speed that have a plan. And you're supposed to follow this cat, but you don't know where he's going. Really? What job is harder than that?
That's tough. That's really tough. And he's not going to show you where, he's not telling you where he's going. He's not going to show you where he's going. He's going to try to fake you out so you go somewhere else.
Right.
So incredibly difficult. So golf from that standpoint is easy. The ball doesn't move.
The course just sits there. That's one of the things it's just infuriated me. I'm like, really? I just made a bogey on this hole. I could birdie this hole playing left-handed half the time. It just pissed me off. But what you said was really crucial. If you need to be deassociated from the results.
Yes.
Because the results, and that's what happens to the average guy, the weekend warrior, the guy trying to win his club championship, the guy trying to win a free throw contest is thinking about results instead of being process oriented. And I know you talk to the guys about process. You have to have your processes. And that's the best you can do. And for us, Craig, for me, it was totally committed to my shot, head to toe, not like 90%, not 98%. It's like a little pregnant. You either are or you're not. Completely committed to my target. And then, Craig, I had to free it up and trust myself explicitly. And then guess what? The ball still might go in the water.
Right.
Because golf is really hard. And so if I completed those tasks and had myself free and loose and wasn't concerned with the results and committed and trusted myself, I had to accept that because, like it or not, Craig, that's the best I could do at that moment. Dude, that is so hard for a young, immature person to handle.
It's hard for a mature, older person to handle. It is hard to replicate that concept of being committed to the shot.
Yeah.
When I think about myself playing golf, very seldom am I committed to the shot.
Most of the time, Craig, the fellows that I try to help, first of all, my friends, I'm like, listen, you cannot think about where you don't want the ball to go. You have to, it's like you want to buy a car and you're sitting on your laptop and you're going to go, well, I really would like a Mercedes, but I'm just going to put in cars. So you're going to get all of this noise. I had Chris Carpenter, the great pitcher for the Cardinals, on the show. And I wish I could share with you the stuff off the air because you would have loved it. If you and I are sitting at a bar somewhere and having a drink or having lunch somewhere, you would love it because the gist of it, I go, dude, we got to clean this up. I'm not on cable and I have a radio show. And he goes, okay, we can do that. But man, I was all in. I mean, I swear at an Olympian level. It's one of the best things I do. It's all because I started caddying when I was 13 and there were 40-year-old men reading the horse reports and card games and all that stuff. I'm like, let's go. Anyway, he said, you have to eliminate the junk. You have to eliminate the noise. You have to get to that place where it's quiet. This is a baseball pitcher. Craig, this is what I love so much about my show. I want athletes and entertainers and people that have hit the top of their professions to talk about it. I want to, because God, what's cool is that a lot of the guys that I have on the show, like I had Wayne Gretzky on the show, the great one, and he loves golf. And I'm like, what's all this about the Gretzky office? Like, how did you think about hiding behind the net so that you could see the whole ice? He goes, hiding behind the net so I could see the whole ice? He goes, shit, man, I was the smallest guy on the ice. Those guys wanted to kill me. I hid behind the net because I knew my back was always protected. And everybody's thinking it's this avant-garde. I mean, obviously, he retired from the NHL, had 72 records. I mean, the best hockey player of all time. But to listen to him talk, simple. Craig, this stuff is simple.
It is
We humans make it complicated, bro. Oh, yeah. And then in golf, people are like, oh, my elbow. Oh, I got to keep my shoulder down. Do I breathe in or out when I swing back? Do I have a quarter in my left pocket or my right pocket? I mean, it's insane. It's insane.
You know, the biggest, so like if you think about all the challenges you have in golf, one of them is your playing partner. One of them is the course. Sometimes it's the weather and the conditions. Okay. You know, how fast are the greens, things like that. But the biggest, and sometimes it's the leaderboard, is your competition, because you're trying to get in the top 10 or you're trying to move up, or you're trying to make the cut. But the biggest competition is your own mind.
No question about it.
And
The biggest component is I have an exceptionally large head. It's relatively empty, but it's about 6 inch. My daughters tell me that I have a 5 or 6 head, Craig. Now, lovingly, of course, love it when your kids get old enough, they could just go ahead and criticize you just openly and not think twice about it. But you're right. It's the mind. It's when I looked at one of the things that was so cool is I had the opportunity to do television for Fox for 5 years, but it was at the end of my career, Craig. If I would have got to do that at the beginning of my career, it would have helped me so much because we didn't cover schmoes like me. We covered all the great players. And I watched the great players, and guess what, Craig? Their duck hooks look just like mine. Their 3-foot putts that didn't go in look just like mine. Exactly the same. My thing is, I had my hands so full trying to manage my life. I was in a really bad marriage, all sorts of things that affected me. And so had my head so far down, that I didn't realize that I was so much closer to that than I knew. I mean, look, if you're 50th on tour and you're number 1 on tour, you're not that far off. You are talking about less than a stroke every couple of days. That's a good bounce here or there. So when you start, Roger Nadal had the coolest, Roger Federer had the coolest quote. And I'm going to screw this up like I screw up on one time on my show, Phil Mickelson, I said he won his 47th tournament. And it was really 48. And I got all these emails and I'm like, listen, dude, I don't give a shit if it's Phil's 200th. The only people that care are him and his mom. So 48, 50, doesn't matter. Federer said, I won 54% of my matches. 54. The number was amazingly close to 50. And he was talking about how important that 4% was that would have made him just another guy. I wish I had that quote prepared for you, but you can Google it. It is amazing because he did a commencement speech at a university and everybody's like, this dude's a stud. He walks on water, la, la, la. And he's like, you don't understand how, yes, I had this amazing career, but I am this much better than the guy that's ranked 25th. Not this much, like everybody thinks. Craig, one of the things that kills me about our society and the younger people today, when I get to speak and coach and stuff, nobody aims for the top anymore. Nobody aims for greatness. I get parents coming in, will you coach Susie? Will you coach Jenny? I'm like, well, how do they do, when they get punched in the nose and when things don't go the way? I don't want them to get hurt. Like, I'm not interested. I'm not interested in coaching your son or daughter. If you're not going to be able to deal with failure, and if you're not going to aim for greatness, I'm not interested. This aiming for the middle and all of this generation, Greg, that doesn't want to start at the bottom. Oh my gosh, it's so infuriating. I don't want to start off making $35,000 a year. Really? I made 46 grand my rookie year on tour and stay exempt. I thought I was eating lobster. It was, sorry to get off on that tangent, but it's the mind and your attitude. Craig, it's everything. It's everything. I don't care if you're a janitor or if you're going to try to win the NBA championship. You watch how you guard your attitude and mind, and you'll figure out what kind of people hang around you. Because if you're always down and crabby and got that ratty mood, welcome to loneliness, bro.
Well, here's the thing that I think that I'm hearing you say is intentions are important. So like goals, intentions. And goals are something outside. Intentions are something inside. So with golf, if your goal is to win the tournament, that's great. If you shoot a couple over par the first round, I'm not gonna win. Okay.
Right.
Already 10 strokes down, you're probably not gonna win. But if your intention is to be your best on every shot, you might win.
And Craig, you're going to have some peace of mind that way. Listen, one guy gets to win every single week. One team will win the championship and win the Super Bowl. One. That means 31 teams fail, according to our society nowadays. And if you look at it that way, good luck to misery. But that's the gateway to misery right there. It is. You are so right. Doing your best on any given day should be what our outcomes, what we should chase after, because we can control how we react to stuff, Craig. If some guy, you're driving a car and some guy flips you off, you have a choice on how you want to react to that. You're going to flip him off again, or send him a peace sign, or send him the love sign. I mean, you have a lot of different ways to respond, right? The other thing is, when you're playing golf, Craig, as soon as that ball immediately leaves your club face, guess what? It's in the past. Your job now is how do I deal with that? I got to tell you this story. I'm kind of a storyteller. Try not to make it too long, but I'm windy as hell. I'm in this mind spot where I'm like, wherever I hit the ball is totally cool. It's totally fine. I'm fine. My kids love me. We're going to be okay. I am working myself over so first 2 days are like, oh, right on. I'm in the top 10. I'm cruising along. Saturday, another good day. Go up on Sunday. We're playing in Memphis, which is ironic. The 14th hole, Craig, is 240-yard par 3, downhill, water all to the right. Of course, the flag's hanging out over the right edge. And I'm in this kumbaya state of mind, like, I don't care, right? Well, I obviously cared on this tee shot, because instead of hitting this little cut towards the flag, I hit this duck hook that flew over the bunker. And I can feel my energy just building up as I'm walking back to set my club down. And I go, wait a second, dude. It's okay. It's all right. I set the club down, didn't yell at my caddy for nothing that he did wrong. And I'm like, dude, you're going to be fine. Craig, I got up to the ball and I chipped it in. Now, it doesn't always happen, but there was this calmness that came over me because I was committed to that intention. Like you were saying, that was more important than the result of where the golf shot went. And I wound up finishing second in the tournament, which was almost rewarding. Not quite, but it was
rewarding. You didn't make as much money as you could have. Well, here's what you effectively did. What you did a wonderful job of on the tee box after you made that bad shot is you reset.
Yeah.
That's all you did.
That's correct. Yep.
So what typically happens in golf is you see this building of momentum, positive and negative. A lot of times it's more negative, where a bad shot leads to another bad shot, leads to another bad shot, another bad hole. And then they start losing their mind. And then then to deal with it, they leave the golf course. They're physically still there, but their mind is thinking about the next tournament, where they're going to go have dinner after the tournament. And
how good's that beer going to taste?
Yeah, how good's the beer? Where are we going to go drink the beer? So it's like, at the end of the day, it's, can you be in that moment and reset despite your circumstances, despite your performance, despite let's say the ball bounces bad. Who cares? Maybe you're an inch away from being 2 feet from the green or being in the bunker. So a lot of times that's true. You're like right there at the, right? It could go either direction, and you're on the right side of it or the wrong side of it. Let's say you're on the wrong side of it. How do you respond? How do you reset?
No doubt.
How many times you got to do that around?
Oh my gosh, almost daily. I mean, it's multiple times a day. It's interesting because you couldn't pull one guy, Jack Nicklaus, Tiger Woods, take the 5 greatest players of all time and ask them, did you ever have one round where everything just went your way? And they'd say, no. And you know how we're wired? I shot 61 and got in the car and thought, man, that could have been 58.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm just being real with you. I was like, I'll tell you another story. I get in the car. My dad, like I told you, my dad and mom got to see this as they're passed on now. I'm so grateful. My dad says to me, son, how in the hell did you miss that putt on 12? And I said, Dad, you got to be kidding me. I just shot the low round of my career, 10 under par. I went from 45th place to like 3rd. You're asking me about something that didn't go in. And he said, everything was going in. I just figured you were going to make that one too. But human nature, man, it just eats us alive sometimes.
Absolutely. Here's something I'd love to know is give a gift to the listeners that play golf. Give them a gift. You're not gonna be able to coach them on mechanics.
Yep.
Give them one thought. Give them one principle.
Here's something super cool. First of all, there's not another game that's a better uniter than golf. I'll tell you a quick story. A guy says to me, yeah, I like tennis better, but they're kind of the same game. And I said, really? And he goes, yeah, I think they are. I said, where's the coolest place you ever played tennis? And he goes, oh, my wife and I know right where it was. We were in Aruba. And I go, what were the dimensions of that court down there? And he goes, oh, and I said, and it's the same damn dimensions as they are in your, over here and down the street. I said, that's what's special about golf is that you're outside. I don't care if it's a dump, muni, wherever it is. There's tons and tons of beauty out there. There's nature out there. There's grass, maybe not a lot of grass on the greens. On the courses I grew up on, didn't have a lot of grass, but you're outside, you're getting exercise. You're usually with some friends. There's some camaraderie going on. And this is a healthy thing to do in terms of exercise. You're swinging. The game of golf, the PGA Tour, Craig, will raise more money this year than Major League Baseball, NFL, NHL, and the NBA combined. We are going to donate close to $500 million through golf. The charitable footprint for golf around our country is over $4 billion. Because I have this sweatshirt on today. I am honored to be the Play Yellow chairman here. Jack and Barbara Nicholas started this Play Yellow organization in 2004. Since then, just the two of them have raised over $300 million for sick kids. When you play golf, you are supporting this effort directly or indirectly. On my show, Craig, I call it a charitable powerhouse because I had the great Dan Deerdorf on the show. Here's a guy that's in the Pro Football Hall of Fame and both the two announcing Hall of Fames. This guy is special. And I said to Dan, why in the hell don't we play flag football to raise money for the kids? And he goes, because we have golf. And golf is perfect. Golf is social. Golf's the number one hobby for Fortune 500 executives. It's and that doesn't even relate to me because I'm not a Fortune 500 exec. But that's why you see the PGA Tour having the sponsorships that they do, Craig. And you're like, geez, these guys. And you could sell cars or watches or financial services or homes or whatever it is you want because the golfer is the marketer's apple of their eye because they're usually higher educated, usually have a little more money, etc. But the game unites people. I dare you to play golf. Just go to some place, play 18 holes of golf with somebody, and I dare you to not be friends with them. To some level, you might be lifelong friends, but I have found so many friends that I consider not just an acquaintance by meeting them somewhere in a pro-am. When I played a pro-am, I took everybody's business card. I sent them a note. These are guys paying or more to play with me, and they were hoping they got Tiger Woods. Can you imagine? Can you imagine? They had to be like, oh, shit, this sucks. I got Delsing. Who's this guy? Well, I was bound and determined to make this their best day on the golf course. I was going to help them with their swings. I was going to tell them jokes. I was going to thank them. I wanted them to have a great day. The funny thing is, they get paired with some of the bigger guys. It's like, that guy didn't talk to me. I'm like, yeah, he probably shouldn't be doing the pro-ams. He's probably not good for business. But the golf is giving, Craig. It's giving, and that's what people don't realize. And Arnold Palmer had 3 children's hospitals named after him. Jack and Barbara Nicholas have 4. These guys, you don't look. Who's the greatest football player of all time? I don't know, pick a guy. But they don't come to the level of a Jack Nicklaus or an Arnold Palmer. And it's because these guys were that special. Muhammad Ali is a guy that would fit into that category because he had all of the social issues and things that he was bigger than the sport, right? Jack and Arnold were bigger than the sport. It's amazing. Now, Greg Norman wants to be bigger than the sport, but he's not, and it shows. These guys are actually true givers. And for that, Craig, if you're not authentic, good luck. Because the public sees right through that stuff, man. They see right through it. So I don't even know did I answer your question at all? Do you want to answer?
I don't think you did, but you answered a couple questions, so that's good. I'm going to ask you another question. I'm going to see if you can answer this one because this has to have this is about you.
Okay.
How old are you now?
65.
Okay. So
Is the question still pertinent?
Yes. Yes.
I may not be able to remember it.
Let's go back 47 years to when you 18-year-old and you're going off to college to Los Angeles with this dream of someday being a PGA golfer. Everybody at that level, you think it's possible. If you get a scholarship to play golf, you're playing at that level, you still think it's possible. And this is not intended to be negative at all. It's just being real. You hit the 52nd best in the world at one point in time, but just on physical skill, where could you have ranked?
Why'd you have to ask me that question? That's a really good question.
Not based on anything in your mind, just your swing, your ability to make the shots. What could you have been?
I could have been a major champion. I believe it with every fiber of my body. I still do, especially, like I said, getting to do the TV and watching these other major champions. I had that ability. I just was in my way too much.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Hold on 1 second. There's a gap between what you could have done and what you did.
Yes.
And with gray hair and with age, we get wisdom. We have time to reflect. We reflect through other competitors. We reflect even in times when we're driving the car and we don't even know we're thinking about something.
Yeah. Yes.
And you're thinking about something. What is the gap? If you could go back and coach up your 18-year-old self now, what would you do to inspire your 18-year-old self to actually do what you were capable of doing?
Well, first of all, I would have never messed with my swing. I would have never tried to get better trying to hit the ball. I would have focused on my short game, my pitching, my putting, and my mental side. That's it. I had Curtis Strange on the show. He said the exact same thing. He goes, why in the hell did we spend so much time on the range? We needed to be chipping and putting and pitching and with the short game. I would have told myself, trust yourself, trust this ability, so Craig, instinctually, my instincts are really good and strong and accurate. This would override them too much, and I would tell my daughters that I had 2 college volleyball players, athletic girls, 4 daughters. I would tell them, this is your guide. This is what you need if your car breaks down and you need to get across the freeway. Use this. This right here, when people say something to you and you get that weird feeling, trust this, because that is your internal guide saying, that guy's nuts, or that guy's lying to me, or I don't trust that. That is that inherent, that gut thing, Craig. When I was brought up, see ball, hit ball, right? See ball, hit ball. My dad would tell me all the time, son, don't think so much, you hurt the tee. Don't just long-term memory for good, short-term memory for bad. All those things really helped me. But getting to a different level would have been leaving my swing alone and trusting all the other skills that I had. Because I was always thinking I needed to get better. And the funny thing is, Craig, when I was on with my swing, I was world class, obviously, because where I made it, it didn't happen enough, but it was good enough. If I could have honed those other skills that I didn't think were as important when I was younger, I would have been much better.
Okay, so here's what Pro Mindset's about. It's about being your best in your biggest moments. That's what it's about.
Yeah.
Because if you can be your best in your biggest moments, you can be your best when nobody's looking. You can be your best when it doesn't count that much. You're not playing an actual tournament. You're playing you're playing a pro-am. What Scotty Scheffler is able to do, and Tiger did, and Arnold did, and Jack did, and all those guys. I mean, when it matters, they make the shot. Not every
Absolutely.
time, but they make the shot. And they don't. Do they choke every now and then? Of course, but they don't have meltdowns. They are so mentally strong that they're able to find a way to relax when the announcers are saying, oh, this is the shot. This is the one that gets you. This is the one that's going to, ruin his round. They make the shot.
Yeah.
So what I would tell my 18-year-old self is to develop a mental game so that I am like poker. I'm all in on me. If you're not all in on you, it will show up in your game.
Yes.
Even when you're all in on you, you're going to have bad shots.
No doubt.
You're going to misjudge distances. You're going to come up with the wrong shot. Like you're thinking, hey, I'm going to do a fade, and you shouldn't have did a fade. You should have did something else. You lofted it, and you should have went low. Whatever the case may be. And then I'm going to have that knowingness you talked about. Knowingness. Nobody talks about knowingness. Everybody talks about grit, confidence, and belief. Nobody talks about knowingness. Knowingness is when you just know. And when you just know, you don't have the pressure.
Craig, knowingness is what helps get you off the canvas. Knowingness is what helps get you off the canvas. I love that. I've never heard that actually before. And I've done a hell of a lot of reading. I've got a chapter in one of Rotell's books. He's really helped me from the mental side. But it's interesting because that knowingness is fiber in you. It is, you can't put your finger on it, but you know it's there. And it is what gets you up in the morning. It's what puts you at the gym in the afternoon. It's what keeps you going. That's awesome.
Knowingness is when you're standing over a 30-foot putt that nobody expects you to make, and you just know it's going to go in before you putt.
Yeah.
You just know. I have those knowingnesses on greens from time to time where I'm like, why? The line is like, it is like a Sharpie. It's like huge. I can see the line.
It's unbelievable.
It's bright. And then there's other times I can't find the line.
There is no line. I
have no idea if I'm just hoping not to embarrass myself.
Right.
And the difference is knowingness.
I love it. I've never heard it put that way, but I'm in. I would sign off on that. I love that. I'm actually wrote it down I have a notebook that I carry with me because I can't remember half the stuff I'd like to. So like where I park my car after I go to the grocery store. But to your point, I mean, so when you asked me earlier about Tiger and Jack and Arnold and those top players, and I'd say they had much stronger knowingness, much deeper faith in themselves. I'll tell you a funny story about Jack and Jackie Nicklaus. Jackie's oldest son and I played college golf together. He went to University of North Carolina. I was at UCLA, and we've had a friendship for a long, long time. Just a wonderful family. And Barbara Nicklaus is an absolute rock star. Anyway, Jackie turns pro and trying to make a go of professional golf, and he's really struggling mentally. And so he says to his dad, can you help me? And he goes, sure, son. What can I help you with? And he says, I don't know. I'm just having a tough time executing these shots, coming down the stretch and trying to make a cut and trying to do this. And I'm just having a hard time trusting myself. And he goes, Dad, what do you do? And his dad goes, I would think about what I needed to do and then just tell myself, go do that. And then I would do it. And then I said to Jackie, what'd you say to your dad? I'm like, he goes, come on, Dad, there's got to be more to it. And his dad was like, I don't know how, I don't think I can help you because I needed to make 3 birdies on the last 4 holes, and I either made 3 or 4. That's what Jack said. And I was like, I think he's right. I think he did do that.
So there's the brain type book. Okay. There's a gentleman out of near Kansas City that wrote a book about brain types back in the 90s. And I've read that book, and it's so true because it's like what Jack Nicklaus described to his son was he was playing an inside game.
Yeah.
Jackie was playing an outside game.
Yeah.
Jackie was trying to figure out what he needed to do it. Jack was like, I got it.
I already know what to do.
I'm just going to do it.
Yeah. You're right.
And
love
so
that.
What happens to like even quarterbacks or, basketball players when they're at the free throw line, they're either playing an inside game that's like, it's a game between them and the rim. There's just a rim. It's not moved. Still 15 feet away, still 10 feet high. The circumference is the same. Everything's the same. Or they're thinking about what could be if I make it or miss it. What coach is going to think? What are my teammates going to think? What's my girlfriend going to think? What are these 15,000 people in the arena going to think? Or it's just me in the rim. And so in golf, Jack described, I don't worry because my ball's going to land somewhere. So I'm going to go there and then figure out what I'm going to do. And it's not that complicated. And one of the things that golf is king of. The sport of golf is the king of so many positive things, but one negative thing, overthinking.
And you know why? Time. Everyone thinks because my pre-shot routine, Craig, is anywhere between 7 and 8 seconds. And it's built in that way because I literally want to try to react to the ball and my target and my things. I want to literally react to it. Like you were playing some other sport where you're not allowed all that time. And you are so right. And the time people think because it's slower, all of us good players are thinking about everything. I asked Tiger, I said, dude, you hit the ball, you hit 4 fairways, yet you come to 18, last hole of the tournament, you need to make a par. It's down the middle on the green, either in the hole in 1 or in the hole in 2. win the tournament. He's like, I do what it takes. I do what it takes. And I'm like, man, but he's right.
That's
It's,
true.
and I talked to him about his putting, and he said, Dad always told me, roll the ball to the picture. So all I try to do is roll the ball to the picture, and the picture's the hole. And so I'm rolling it that's it.
Keeping it simple.
Boy, we humans could just complicate the hell out of stuff, bro.
Well, all you do is get on YouTube and you can see 4,000 videos today about, basically your swing socket and everything else. I mean, it's so overanalyzed, and no two people have the same body.
Yeah.
And two people, even if they were identical twins and they had the same body, they probably wouldn't swing the club the same.
Right. Craig, here's what I tell people. Why are you spending so much time on the driving range where you got a flat piece of ground, bucket of balls? How many balls are in a bucket? 100? I don't know. 50, 100, 200, 2,000. I don't know, whatever, right? But all these balls, flag over here, flag over there. It's like all this. And then you get out on the golf course and it's like, boom, there's water on the right, wind blowing from the left. Now, all of these variables that you never practice. It's all about compensations and adjustments. How about you hit your first shot off the first tee, and now the ball's below your feet. The wind's blowing over here. I got a bunker here. I got a tree over here. Water. None of that's on the range. Like I hit it so well on the range. No kidding. You didn't care. First of all, you didn't care. Now you got one ball. I said, what you need to be doing is you need to be practicing more like you play. Play a shot on the range and give yourself parameters. If I hit it over here, it's not in the fairway, or whatever. But purposeful practice, as you know. Oh my gosh, there is a drill, Craig, called the clock drill for putting for folks that want to get better at their putting. And I'll just go over it briefly. You take your balls for amateurs. I'd say take 4 balls, put them around the hole at equal places. Start at 2 feet, go to 3 feet, and then 4 feet. Here's the deal. Very simple. 4 balls around the hole, 2 feet, knock them all in. Go to 3 feet, knock them all in. Go to 4 feet, knock them all in. Your job and the task and the drill's over. Here's the caveat. Miss one, start over. Think about it. As soon as you're standing over that last 4-footer and you go, I may not make it home for dinner.
Yeah, got to start over. It's like playing around the world in basketball. You got to start over if you miss it.
Yeah, it's a great drill. So that is putting pressure on yourself from a mental aspect that'll help you perform better, I think.
Okay, so I think you're onto something there that doesn't show up on the practice range. On the practice range, you could have 150, 175, 200 flag. You could have them different places, and you hit an iron, and it goes somewhere near a flag, but it's not the one you thought you were aiming at. But in your mind, you think, I guess I really was aiming it there. So you start justifying, and then you're like, instead of like thinking maybe you were out of alignment, you're like, yeah, that was okay. I was in alignment. So then when you get on the course, you're a mess. Everything you did doesn't translate to being on the course. But it's like the thing that I think people are missing is that if you care a lot about your game, you could have like 75, 80, 85, 90, 95, or 100 shots that are all pressure shots. Now, you're relaxed and you're probably normal. Maybe only when water's in play, or hey, you're putting for a par, or birdie, whatever, or maybe for a triple bogey, so you don't look stupid. You don't want to do quadruple bogey. Those are the pressure shots. So maybe there's only like 1 pressure shot per hole. So on average, maybe 18 pressure shots in a round. It's how you do in those pressure shots. Number one, can you minimize or lower the number of pressure shots?
Right.
You only have like 2 or 3 pressure shots around. In your mind, you're only feeling pressure 2 or 3 times.
Right. That's amazing. Craig, think about what happens to the average golfer, though. They don't realize that the 3-foot putt that they stand up and cavalierly knock in on the first hole, it's worth the same thing on 18. It's all in their brain that puts, like you just said, now all of a sudden, wait a minute, it's the same damn putt. I've been making them all day. But now I don't have anything that I can catch up to. I can't make up if I jack this up on 18, then I don't. Well, now what? I got the 19th hole, which is I'm a scratch golfer at, but that's not putting. So you start thinking about that, and that's one of the things I try to tell the younger guys that I coach, that we gotta be there on time. We got to start at the beginning. I'd love it if you birdied 18 and it gave you 4 birdies, but it only gives you 1. It's the same birdie as you make on number 1. It's not worth anymore. So let's get this playing field evened out. Yes, I get that there's no more holes to play after 18 for this particular day, but there's no more value in that. That's a self-imposed. That's that cuckoo, that we put in here. And people are like, oh, I just missed this putt on 18. Really? You missed the same putt on 4, but you're not talking about it.
Well, here's the thing that's interesting about that. Similar, all the shots count the same. They all count the same.
That pisses me off a little too, to be honest with you. My 300-yard drive and the putt that I miss and I tap in are equal.
Yes.
We need to change that, Craig. You got any
Somebody needs to change the scoring system for golf, especially for those guys that hit the ball a long ways.
It's been going on for 200 years. I don't think we got a chance here, but that used to just infuriate me. But you're spot on. 100% right.
And I think that some people are careless about, at least I've done it, where I'm careless about shots. I might be in a conversation with my friends I'm playing with, and I'm not locked into I'm not in the moment. I'm really thinking about what we were talking about. And then I hit a bad shot, and then I'm like, oh, it reminds me, my response and my reset is, hey, yes, we can be sociable on the course, but when it's my turn to hit the ball, I'm going to be focused on my shot.
Yep. Well, here's the other thing let's clarify this for the listeners, though. Because people are like, how in the hell do you concentrate for 5 hours or the rounds are 5.5 hours in the major sometimes? And you don't. It's in and out. Like you talked about your personal bubble. I love that because I'm in, I hit, now I'm accept. Xander Schauffele does 3 things. He commits, executes, and accepts. And he talks about trying to accept being the hardest one. Execution comes and goes. It does for everybody. But that accepting it is something. I would say to my caddy, it was more important for me, Craig, to have a caddy that I liked as a human than was a good strategist. Because I felt like I had enough of strategy on my own. I need someone who I can hang out with for 5 hours every day, 6 hours every day, be under a lot of pressure, trying to win a major championship and have him relax me. You know what I mean? And so, nothing is worse, Craig, than when you look at your caddy and you're coming down the stretch in a big tournament and it's all this pressure is building towards the end of the tournament and he's scared to death. He can barely talk. It's like he's got cotton in his mouth. I'm like, oh,
hey, I got to go to commits, execute, and accepts.
Yes.
I have this concept called a 99.9er, and I use it in reference to belief in yourself. So like you as a person, as a man, believing in yourself, you have to choose you every single day. You have a choice when you wake up every morning. I got it. I'm the man or not. If you're 99.9% sure, that's really, really good, but it's not enough. And it's going to show up when it matters the most that day, whether it's in your relationship, whether it's in your performance in golf or performance at work or whatever you do. So what I can tell you combining that with commit, execute, and accept. When you make a commitment to a shot, you have to be 100%. That's why people pull their putts, push their putts. They're not trusting and committed to the line. Done it.
0.9 is not good enough. To your point right there, it's not good enough.
You got to be 100%er on commit. Let's look at execute. If you're a 90%er, you're a freaking rock star.
Machine. Yeah. Rock star. Yeah.
So what happens is people want to be 100% execute person. You don't got to be 100%.
No.
If you hit your driver 300, 290, 280, 270, it's not going to make a difference.
No.
Okay. It really just doesn't matter. If you're like on, like different parts of the green in 2 in regulation on a par 4, it doesn't matter. Yeah. Would you rather be under the hole? Sure. Would you rather be closer to the hole? Sure. But you're okay. Now let's go to accept.
Why is that so hard?
It has to be 100%. It can't be 99.9 or below, because when it's 100%, it frees you up for your next shot, your next hole. When you are a 99.9er in terms of acceptance, you're still bringing with you some of the trash from the previous shot, which is going to put more pressure on the next shot than you need to have.
No, you're right. I've experienced that.
So I love the commit, execute, and accept, but I also like it linked with a percentage, because people need to be aware that you can't like do it halfway.
Yeah. Right.
Except on execution.
Well, we're not machines. I mean, and you think about it, the failure rate, like we said, one guy wins every week, and the greatest Jack Nicklaus won at a percentage just under 10%. Tiger won at just under 24%.
Wow.
But still 24% being the high water mark. What about the 76%? So it's a game of not winning. I mean, really, you sit there and think about what would Phil Mickelson's career look like, Craig, if Tiger didn't come along?
I know. How many more tournaments would he have won?
Ridiculous. And I mean, as soon as Tiger came along, he was in Phil's head and it got sideways. I mean, it's just absolutely insane. You start thinking, here's another thing. The best two players in the last, Scotty Scheffler being the exception, before Scotty, the last two players, last 25 years, Greg, they couldn't hit a fairway. Mickelson and Tiger drove the ball like this. It was like, where's it going? It's all over the place. And yet, so the mechanisms, not the mental mechanisms, but the physical mechanisms of the tour changed dramatically when Tiger came out. Now it's about a power game. Now, because of the equipment, you don't have to be in the fairway to be able to control the ball. Hell, Craig, back when I was playing, we had a lousy ball in the grooves in the irons that didn't grip the ball. Every time I hit it in the rough, the ball just took off. Now the ball's in the rough. These guys hit it a mile high and it comes down just like it hit out of the fairway. It's amazing how that, but per this conversation, it all goes back to what we just talked about, because you're not going to get what you want in the ultimate prize unless you click these boxes. Pretty crazy, man.
Well, and I also think to accept that there's like commit is hard, but it's really only 3 or 4 things. It's making sure you're convinced about the distance, the type of shot, the club you're going to use.
Yep. Shots you're going to hit. Yep.
Yeah. It's maybe 3 or 4 things. Execution really should be mindless. Okay.
Yes.
So that's nothing. Acceptance is 100 things. 100 things.
Amen.
It's what your coach told you to do that you didn't do. It's it's the financial ramifications of making a bad shot in that timely moment. It's you were winning. Maybe you're number 1 on the leaderboard, first time ever you've ever been on the board at any given moment. I'm not talking about the end of the tournament. I'm talking about the end of a day. I'm talking about it.
Yeah.
You're at the top of the board, and you see you're on the top of the board, and all of a sudden now you don't feel like you're worthy. You don't believe in yourself 100%. So guess what? Now you start playing hard on yourself and beating yourself up. And you see that happen sometimes in tournaments, where I love watching golf because you get to see the mental game reveal itself live.
Through the guy's mannerisms. Oh yeah. Right? Amen. Oh yeah. The body is, it's the gateway to that mind. You can see what's happening. You can actually see them physically speed up. You can actually see them, just the anxiety. It's real palpable. It's interesting.
I think day 4, watching PGA golf, especially in majors, is must see TV. Yeah. Because it's where you learn about humanity.
Yeah. Right. That's cool. How did you get so interested in the mind? And so, gosh, you've got so many, these thoughts are so well developed. I mean, it's not easy, I guess. But I'm much older than you are. But when I was growing up, nobody talked about it. But I was on tour for 3 years before I knew that I was the only asshole that didn't have a sports psychologist. Everybody else did, but nobody talked about it because it wasn't vogue. You know what I mean? It was like,
I'll give you the short answer to that question. Representing NFL guys, you trust the NFL teams to tell you who they like, and then you recruit the guys they like. But what they don't know is how the player's going to respond to competition, to being overdrafted, to demotion, to money, to girls, to all the different
freedom.
Patience.
Money gives them access to so much crazy.
Okay. And so what happens is if they're not playing in the NFL, they're not paying an agent. So your income is directly related to their success on the field. And their success on the field is not their 40 time. It's not how much they can bench. It is how they respond to adversity. It's how they respond to when the coach doesn't want them to be the guy.
Yeah.
That is a very difficult one in team sports.
Sure.
For an athlete to perform their best when they know, and everybody else on the team knows, The coach wants someone else to be the best,
Mm.
wants somebody else to be that position. And so over 25 years, I started studying my clients and I started seeing threads and trends. And I started seeing where guys would be really struggling in certain areas. I'd be like, hey, I've seen this before. Unless you can detach from your next contract, you know, that coach that's an a-hole to you, you have to block him out. When he says something, like some coaches, they can control their players' performance. They don't even realize it. They can, like in football or basketball, you're watching the game film, you're doing a little review. You can beat the kid up and make him play worse. So you can play the kid you want to play. And the reason why sometimes a coach does that is because he made a promise to the other kid or to his parents, or because the kid that he's trying to beat up or the kid that he's attempting to like destroy his confidence reminds him of the guy that beat him out when he was in high school.
Mm.
He was in college.
Brutal.
Right?
That's brutal.
And so then I would be talking on the phone with my clients more than about money. I'd be talking about their circumstances, their situation, their challenges. And I'd be driving to practice to coach my boys in soccer and basketball and football. And the same challenges the 10-year-old, the 12-year-old had, the 22, the 25-year-old had.
Wow.
They were identically the same. I literally was laughing in my mind. I'd hang up and go, oh my God, this is freaking crazy. How could this 25-year-old still be dealing with the same thing that I'm hearing from this kid?
Right.
Who's pouting because he thinks he should be the quarterback.
Right.
And so then I created this concept called Pro Mindset, which is really three things. You have a story. I have a story. Every person has a story, but every athlete, their story matters. And you have to rewrite your story to change your direction. So that's why I alluded to the concept of, you know, walking in the back door of the golf course, being a caddy, playing at municipal courses, being blue collar. That at some point in time, you either had to set it free to be your best or it held you back. And subconsciously, it affected you whether you realized it or not.
Yeah. I think what's interesting for me, Craig, is that because I started playing on tour, all of a sudden I was walking in the front doors. I was, so this thing kind of morphed into, I was accepted physically before I actually accepted myself mentally, if that makes sense. You know what I'm saying? Where you're like, okay, because there is that one moment, I don't know, maybe it's after 3 or 4 years of keeping your card and playing, where you go, I'm doing this.
I am it.
I'm it. I mean, I'm actually doing it. I mean, I'm
a pro now. I'm not trying to be anymore.
You know what one of the coolest things about golf is? Even at my old age, if I could shoot the scores, they can't keep me out. There's no coach. It's one of the things that I love the most.
Can't discriminate against you.
If you and I play and we're in a tournament and you shoot 70 and I shoot 71, your 70 beats me every single day. Nobody gives you extra points or takes away because I'm tall or you're short or none of that. And when I see other aspects of my life and now I dive into other businesses and stuff, I so appreciate that your 70 beats my 71 every day of the week, because it's like, dude, get better or go do something else, because it's the most honest part of the game. You know what I mean? It's honest that way.
There's integrity in the idea that if you play with integrity, the score is the score.
Yeah.
And if we tie and it's a tournament where we're gonna play 18 holes the next day, that score matters. Doesn't matter what you wear. Doesn't matter how good or bad I look. It doesn't matter. What's the score?
What'd you shoot?
Yeah. So I'll get back. I want to just summarize this. Pro Mindset is rewriting your story.
Yeah.
Story first.
Yeah.
And then rewriting the elements of your story that are holding you back so that you can achieve your greatness, because you can't be great with your old story. Most people, unless they're already great, can't be great with the same story. So you have to write a new chapter to your story, to your book, so to speak, so that you can attain greatness. The second thing you have to do is elevate your standards. So most people want more, but they don't want to do more. Some people, all of us want a better life or more success, better short game. But how many guys that want a better short game actually work on the short game?
Are willing to put in the work to get the results. 100%. I love it. You're absolutely right. You can say it all you want, but actions speak louder. Are you? Yeah.
So the way you elevate your standards is I have a P5 method, which is your preparation, your practice, your preview, which is visualization, your pit crew, which is your people, and your process. Preparation speaks for itself.
I love that.
Practice speaks for itself. Preview, if you can't see yourself doing it, you'll never be able to do it. At 18, if you couldn't see yourself winning a major, you will never win a major. At 18, if you can't see yourself getting a PGA card, you won't get one.
Yeah.
So it's like, I know it sounds really harsh, but what you saw is what you did.
Well, what's interesting is that, Craig, because I think about this and reminisce a little bit mentally, and I stood over putts hundreds of times and rolled them right in the hole where I won the US Open, I won the Masters, so there was that component. But when I think about what I did or my map, so to speak, it was more being a part of it than being number one. And I think I grew up in a team concept, family oriented, the team, and then I wound up playing this individual thing. And anytime I was, as a kid, if I won a tournament, my parents were like, "How'd you play?" I'm like, "Oh, I shot 68. How'd you do?" "I won." "Oh, great, pass the potatoes." It was no, like, "Way to go." This is nothing at all. And so it was almost kind of like it was just assumed, and you're absolutely right, because I think had I dreamed more of seeing myself as that major champion, then that would have probably I know it would have had a much better chance of happening. It probably would have happened. But I think to that degree, I think I completed the outline for myself. You know what I mean?
So let me share with you what most humans do. They do dream it, but they don't believe it. They do dream it until their circumstances tell them that it's not realistic. So what happens is you can have a preview, you can visualize, you can see yourself putting on the green jacket. You can see yourself like being interviewed on national TV. But when you go out and practice and in your mind, you say, "I'm going to hit this club 225," and you hit it 215, your pocket voice, I call, starts telling you that maybe Jay, you don't have what it takes to win the Master. You're good enough to be a PGA Tour player. You're not good enough to win the big one.
Yeah.
So what happens is it's the concept of, can you hold on to your dream when it doesn't look like it's possible? And 99% of people can't.
Well, I can tell you what's interesting, and I really encourage. One of the things that's cool about what happened to me, Craig, is that as a dad that cares, I know you're a dad that cares, I can tell with your sons, I can look my daughters in the eye and say, "Guess what? You dream big because things can happen." I would say to the girls, they were volleyball players, I said, "Who's going to be the setter for the national team? Who's going to be the outside hitter?" And they're like, "I don't know." And I said, "I don't know either, but why can't it be Brennan Delsing? Why can't it?" And I was trying to instill that into them at very young ages. And it's absolutely thrilling, Craig, to be able to look at you in the eye and know that I had aspirations. I didn't quite accomplish them, but I did get something. I was part of and the amazing thing along the way, bud, is there's so many people that try to talk you out of it because they've given up on their dream. They're afraid of it. They're afraid of failing. Like, I can tell you, I wasn't afraid to fail. I mean, golf is a game of failure, man. I mean, like we said, one guy wins, but the competition part was just...
Life is a game of failure. Just like Fedorov was talking about, tennis is a game of failure, unforced errors and all these things. Football. I think Tom Brady holds the record I know he holds the record for the most incompletions in NFL history. And LeBron James right now holds the career record for the most missed shots. You can look it up, but we don't talk about that.
No.
And Michael Jordan back in the day missed a lot of game winners, but he made a lot of game winners.
Yep.
Right.
Yep.
And then the third part of pro mindset is being your best on stage. On your stage. Everybody's got a stage. Might be a phone call, might be an email, it might be a presentation, it might be a speech, it might be a golf swing, maybe a golf course, but everybody's got a stage. And the only way that you can be your best on your stage is when you're intentional about rewriting your story. You've elevated your standards and put in all that stuff into the P's. And then when you show up, you step into your performance bubble. And when you step into that performance bubble, your bubble is going to be corrupted at some point in time. So you could have the best performance bubble in the world. You step into it, you're breathing the oxygen of belief in that bubble. You know you can do anything. You can make any shot that you're going to face on the course. And you do. First 10 shots, you're rocking and you're blocking out the noise. You're detached from results. You don't worry about family issues and friend issues and everything else. You're rocking. Then all of a sudden you hit a sprinkler head and it bounces into the high grass and your bubble's corrupted because that wasn't supposed to happen. And you've got to know how to regulate and reset back into that by going, hey, the ball just landed. What's the difference between hitting the tree and landing in that same spot, hitting the sprinkler head in the same spot, or just hitting it directly and it lands in that spot?
Yeah.
There's no difference. You have to hit the ball from where it's at and try to get it closer to the hole. So can you commit? Can you execute? Can you accept after that? And so it's a game of putting yourself in the best possible position to be in the zone.
Yeah.
Knowing that you're not going to be in the zone a lot, but you can almost manufacture, you can create that zone so that the things that normally hold you back, because those things don't get to come in the bubble.
Right.
And you already know what they are because you know you better than anybody else. And if I was coaching you and you're a golfer, I would ask you, hey, what happened in this situation? What happened in that situation?
Yeah.
And we come up with an archetype of this is who you are. This is how you show up. This is your mindset in these big moments. What needs to be adjusted? Because if you show up the same, you'll perform the same.
Yeah.
Love it. Every blind squirrel finds a nut. Every now and then you could, show up the same and have a better day. But unless you figure that piece out, you can't be great. And I got to be careful about that because you can be, but you got a chance to be greater.
Right. You're just talking about being your best version, which is everybody is going to be different because of the gifts they've been given and things like that. It's interesting, Craig, you could take this and apply it to anybody. You can take it and apply it to GM. You can take it and apply it to, selling homes. You could sell in cars, whatever it is. I mean, these principles, that's the beauty about this stuff. And I learned that so much from the guests I've had on my show, because whether it's, a pitcher thinks about a game where, he's got his great stuff and he's shutting the other team out, but his team's also shut out, and now all of a sudden he doesn't trust the curveball, hangs one, guy hits a home run, he loses the game 1-0. He had a great day. He still gets a yell hung on him. And it's the thing that I think it was Vince Lombardi said, we know that the outcome of this football game is going to be 1, maybe 2 plays every single week. What we don't know is
which ones.
And so it might be the first kickoff, might be the last Hail Mary. We might be the third quarter. Like you said, this is the defining moment. We don't know. So we don't have a choice to not be there. We can't take the other side of the fence. We can't take a play off. Oh, I'm just going to take this play. I don't feel like chasing this guy down on this post route. I know they're not going to throw it to him. Guess what? Boom, touchdown, game's over. You don't know. It's not. And so we used to talk about that in golf either. Got to be ready on time. First shot, first tee, let's go. All the way through.
Well, here's the thing that I think is really difficult for athletes. When they're posed with the question, would you rather not play your best and win or play your best and lose?
I'd rather not play my best and win.
Okay. So that's outcome oriented and that's normal. But for true improvement and no regrets is you want to play your best and let the results be what they're going to be.
Yeah.
Win, lose, or draw. So what happens to athletes, and I see this with pros all the time in football, they become a winner. They become a baller and all they focus on is like making the plays. And then they don't make the plays they're supposed to make. They're trying to make big plays. And then next thing you know, they're not playing anymore. Next thing you know, they're not on the roster anymore. And it's because they were going for, it's almost like the golfer that's going for the hero shot all the time.
Going for the hero shot. I was just going to say that. Yeah. Very good.
And it's like, no, if you really lock in and play smart, you don't have any hero shots.
You're right. Craig, when I tried to help my girls get to the next level in volleyball, I don't know diddly about volleyball. You know what we did? We focused on the fundamentals. And then I said, you've got to get your mind right. So we sat down and I gave them this little, here's what you're doing before every match. These kids would go on these select trips and they'd play 7 or 8 matches in a day. And they're 14 and 15. And I'd tell them, look, the day gets longer. It's going to be tougher because you're going to be tired. You've got to get yourself in a quiet place away from your girlfriends, turn off your phone, turn off your music, and close your eyes and watch yourself being great. Watch yourself being great. Watch yourself handling, oh gosh, I didn't serve that great, but now, boom, what's next? Ball's coming. I don't have time to be a baby. I don't have time to pout. This next play's coming. And if the other team sees me being down, hell yeah, they're going to hit it at me. That's the same thing in football, man.
They can feel it. They can feel it. They can feel your energy.
Yep. It's that vibe.
Yeah. Yep.
Damn.
Well, Jay, so cool. we talked for a long time, brother.
I don't even know what time it. Bro, oh, yeah, we did. I told you it was windy.
Put these people to sleep today. Hey, I want to thank you for being on Pro Mindset today. How can people find you if they want to check you out? Where you at? Where's your radio show? Where can they find your book? What's the title of your book? All those things.
So the title of the book is called You Wouldn't Believe Me If I Told You. This is what she looks like. I had the great Jack Nicklaus write the foreword. People ask me, Craig, how'd you get Jack to write the foreword? You know what? I asked him. He goes, I'd love to do it. When do you need it by? I'm like, oh my gosh. A funny part, David Faraday wrote the introduction. I dare you to be able to follow it. It's hysterical. And he wrote it when he was on a plane somewhere. But you can find the book on mascot.com, JayDelsingGolf.com, or as I refer to them as the cartel. Amazon has it, and they do whatever they want with it. And my show, we drop it. We're in 50 markets. It's called Golf with Jay Delsing. We also drop it as a podcast. It's on Apple, Spotify, anywhere you find your pods. You can send me an email, jay@jaydelsinggolf.com. I'm on the back nine of my life. I know this. I hope I'm on hole 10. I hope I'm on hole 10. But my goal, Craig, is I want to grow the game. If I can help anybody or get them involved, somebody needs help with finding clubs for their kids or their spouse, or I don't know where. Look, one thing that pisses me off more than anything, and it's the last thing I say because I am gabbing away, but golf is not a rich kid sport. So don't give me that garbage. That's trash. Your kid will spend more money going to a movie than if he goes down and tries to play at a Muni. And if he hangs out at a Muni for a week, Craig, they'll probably hire him. You know that. It's a great game. I really appreciate your time. And yeah, I hope we didn't bore people to death with the golf talk, but I was thrilled. I liked it.
I liked it too. I want to thank everybody today for joining in to Pro Mindset Podcast. And I want you to check Jay out, check out his book. Might have to do some due diligence on his career. Make sure he really was on the tour. Make sure he was like 52nd. I'm just kidding.
Good luck.
Thank you, man. Hang with me.
Appreciate you. Yep. Have a great day.
Hey, it's Craig Domann, the host of Pro Mindset Podcast. I want to thank you for listening or watching today's show. And you can catch us every week on the normal social media platforms like YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, and all the listening podcast platforms. I hope you enjoyed today's show. And more importantly, I hope you gained a pro mindset insight. Please be sure to rate and review Pro Mindset Podcast. And I look forward to catching up with you on our next show.